my name is Natalie Chan, and this is Own Your Future, a show all about helping young people uncover truths about life and work. Join me as I invite some of my favorite people to talk about what is it that they do, lessons they've learned, and how is it that they're taking charge of their own lives. Make sure you subscribe to Own Your Future's new episode every week, or join us for our live stream chat. Find us on YouTube and podcast. Now, it's time to own your future and start living a happy and fulfilled life. We arrived at our next interview location. Today's guest is Marc Hoffman, the operations manager of Black Sheep Restaurant. So let's go say hi to him.
Welcome.
Thank you so much for having us here.
Please. This is Terminologies, our coastal Italian restaurant. You have it on site.
Beautiful. So we'll set up for our interview very quickly, and then we'll be right back with you. Hi everyone. Welcome
guys.
to Own Your Future. Today's guest is Marc Hoffman. Marc actually studied international business and entrepreneurship in university, and then he proceeded to work for a communication agency before he found his love in hospitality. Marc, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you for being here.
So tell me a little bit about the way that you kind of went into business. Why did you go into business, and then how did you decide to go into communication agency, and then what you're doing now?
Well, first thing is, I think around 13, 14, I wanted to be a chef. So I told my parents I want to be a chef.
What gave you that inspiration?
I just really enjoy first eating, and then cooking as well. I think I have a bit of a creative mind, and I love making people happy. So I think that kind of put both things together. They were like, "Are you sure?"
Yeah.
I said, "Yeah," but I think finally they said, "Look, it's probably better for you to do some proper studies." So some students here might recognize themselves.
Right.
Here.
And where did you grow up?
So I grew up in north of France.
North of France. Okay.
So then I studied, and I really enjoyed. I'm from a family where my father used to be an entrepreneur, so I kind of always got this in my blood. Then I went to, I think really naturally into a business school, studied entrepreneurship, international business. Mm-hmm. Really loved the university years.
So you went to business school knowing that you still want to become a chef. Is that the?
No, but I mean, look, I'm not a chef today, and I think just I went into business school. I wanted to do something of my own. Something related to business at some point. It's really broad, and I think I was not really sure of what, but I think that's naturally where I should see myself. Mm-hmm. So I did this, and then at the end of those 4 years, I realized, I said, look, maybe I need to do something that I really love. So I went into this communication agency, which was all about Michelin star restaurant, and so that's how I arrived there. And then after those 6 months, that's really where I was like, okay, cool. I need to go into restaurants. I need to keep doing this. That's what I love.
So what was the moment in the Michelin star restaurant that really inspired you?
So I had the chance to go for lunch in the kitchen of a restaurant called L'Hôtel de Ville in Crissier in Switzerland. So it's a 3 Michelin star restaurant. At that time, they were number 1 on La Liste, it is one of the, it is probably at that time the best restaurant in the world, recognized amongst the peers, amongst chefs. So we had lunch in on the pass, so which is where the chef is, and then where the dishes are sent to the guest. So it's a brigade of 50 chefs, all in white, all wearing the chef hats. Yeah. Really, really impressive. The chef is naming all those dishes with which are really premium, like lobster and bar and all those fish which or meat which are really sounded amazing. It's a big brigade. It's huge. It doesn't even have to shout. It's like just just like naming the dishes and the entire brigade, and says, "We chef," really loudly and all together. And I was like, wow, that's really impressive. That's
wow.
And then I think I just
fell in love with it.
got
Wow,
so
got the bug.
that's how it started. And then so I finished this internship, finished my studies. I was like, I need to get into restaurants. I was just feeling maybe I'd missed something, or I would have missed something if I was not going into restaurant at the time.
Got it.
And then that's how I came into Hong Kong.
Okay, and today you work with Black Sheep Group, which is the top restaurant group in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
And so what do you do for them? Can you share with us how did you get in? I mean, how did you start working in Hong Kong? Because you're in Luxembourg, in France, and then coming to Hong Kong. Why?
So I've been in Hong Kong before. Love the city. Love the dynamic of the city. I always saw myself living here. So when I finished my studies, two things: I was looking for Hong Kong, and I was looking to work in restaurants. The entire idea about Black Sheep really resonates with me.
And what is that exactly?
I mean, I'm the second child. So I do have two brothers. My first brother, super successful at school. So right behind him, I think I was like I had to find myself. Yeah. Couldn't compete on the grades. So I just had to try to I naturally differentiated myself. Yeah. I think.
So basically, you are the black sheep.
Yeah, I think I can see this.
The black sheep
I'm
group,
the black sheep.
There must be a connection there.
Really, I felt at school. I was good in what I was interested in. I think that's pretty much what hospitality is. If you're passionate about people, if you're passionate about the food or beverage industry, and you like what you do, you'll be successful. And I think it's the case in any business, right? Or any industry. If you like what you do, you're gonna be successful.
So true. You only be successful if you like what you do. I think that's the main. Yeah.
At least if you want to do it at really high level.
That's true. I agree. So break down for me what happens behind the scenes of a restaurant. Because we just come in to eat at a restaurant all the time, but I'm sure there's so much that goes behind what we see. So please enlighten us.
So that's funny because when my friend asked me, "Oh, what you do?" and I think people have this idea where restaurant open at 6 p.m. close on an ideal world at 12, and then so I think my friends were like, oh, so you start at 5 p.m. your days, and then you go home, and but before the restaurant needs to be set up, the team needs to be trained, so there are a lot of things going outside of those service hours per se. So basically we say we are storytellers first. So especially for our restaurants, each restaurant tells a specific story of a time and a space, a location. So for here we're in Terminologies. It's a coastal Italian restaurant. So the idea is we're telling the story of the cuisine of Italy, but in the south of Italy. When I'm working here from 6 p.m. onwards, I am Marco.
You're Marco. You have a different personality.
Yeah, I think it's really about putting yourself into those shoes, because that's how you're gonna really transmit something to your guests. It's not only about the food you're gonna eat, but you need to learn about how to be an Italian person. So I think there is a lot of training for us to understand what we serve, the food we do. And most importantly, why we are serving it. For example, here we're not making pizza. It's an Italian restaurant, but it's a specialty store. It is really focusing on a specific cuisine, a specific genre of Italian cuisine. So to be able to first understand it and then transmit this to the guest, there's a lot of training.
I see.
About
so what does it involve? Like research or watching movies from the south of Italy, or what does that entail?
I think when we open a new restaurant, it's always really, really cool, really interesting, because you have to you have to learn about the culture. So when we open a restaurant, I think it's really strong because it's really immersive for about the 2-3 weeks before the opening day. You really get into this. So there is a lot of work of research as well. Not only storytellers, but I think also a little bit of we feel ourselves as historians. The latest restaurant we opened, S01 Chianti, where Osteria Marzia is a coastal Italian restaurant. S01 Chianti is a Tuscan steakhouse, so it's really it's the opposite concept.
It's very niche.
Really niche. Very I think we don't try to do everything. We try to do one thing, and try to do it well.
Really well.
And
that's really what separates an amazing restaurant, to kind of like an everyday restaurant, where like just by you saying this, there's so much thought and there's so much details that goes into just coming to the space. You're transformed into a completely different environment, and I think that's what I love about the Black Sheep Group, because it's just you're kind of like becoming an actor in you completely take up a different personality.
That's where for us, we want you to travel with us. So for the time you are here, we want you to be in south of Italy with us, not anymore in Hong Kong. So I think we try to make people travel with us. And that's why it's really important. You go to an Italian restaurant, you want to have a chef, speaking in Italian. You need to be greeted and feel you're in Italy now. So when we open a new restaurant, we do a lot of research. We'll watch movies. We'll listen to music. We'll go a lot on books, Pinterest. Try to understand, see the details, do some research so that the restaurants. We don't say authentic because it's a really dangerous word. It cannot be authentic if it's outside of. But we say the new authentic. We take a story in its original form, and then we bring it to Hong Kong and put it into the black sheep sauce.
Wow. So tell me more about you mentioned about people may not see the service hours before and after. Mm-hmm. So what are the terminologies, or how do you break down what happens? Because there's clearly the chef part, and there's clearly someone that seats you. But then, if you can kind of walk me through, what do people not see?
So, if we look at this restaurant specifically, you have two departments. One being the what we call back of house, which is the kitchen team, and then the front of house team, which is the team in front of the guest. So both work together. One can't work without the other one. They work hands in hands to tailor the perfect experience for the guest.
And does everybody come together at the same time, or they arrive at...
Slightly different. I'd say the thing is the kitchen, there's a lot of what we call mise en place. They take the products when it's raw, vegetables, proteins, and then it needs to be prepared. That's what cooking is. On a daily basis, they'll come probably earlier. There's a lot of prep to get ready before service, and then front of house team comes a little bit later, and then you need to do the mise en place as well, but the mise en place on the floor. So setting up the restaurants, and then working on the training of the day. What do we need to improve?
And this is an everyday process.
Yeah.
Every day it's the standard that you go through the mise en place to training, to setting up, and then serving. Yeah. And then clean up and then
once
all
again.
over again. Yeah. Wow. So does it ever get too repetitive?
It's I think there is a bit of routine, but at the same time every day is different. You don't know, guests are going to be different. All the metrics are different. Is it going to be raining outside? Is it a public holiday? Yeah. We have, I think, every day is really different.
So then what is it that really gets you excited about what you do?
For us, I think it's really about making people happy and making people travel with us. And restaurants are one of the rare entity which are made to make people happy.
I think shared experience.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool to work in an industry in something that you put a smile on people's face. I was too bad to be a doctor. I think restaurants is a good way to make this happen. Our guests and our teammates. I think also seeing our teammates, seeing our people growing with us and being happy, it's pretty awesome.
So for a young student today that is also interested in food and loves food, how can they get started in an industry like this? Like what are some tips that you can share with them?
I mean, it's really easy. Like you just knock the door. Say you want to learn about the business. Roll up your sleeves. Get ready for some tough days. I mean, it's for long hours. Get ready for long hours. But I think if you're curious, it's gonna be really amazing because you're gonna learn so much. And I think not only on the food or the drinks, but really about yourself as well. I didn't think I could work.
You didn't think you could
that long. Or
what are the hours like, if you can highlight that?
I mean, it's really different. I think when you start and our teams, especially in operations, work quite long hours. That's the reality of it. You basically work when people don't work, and you rest when people work.
I see.
So it is long hours. Yeah. But I think what we get from this, you can't find it in an office job or.
So true. And as a company, what kind of talent do you look for? Like, what kind of people are good for the hospitality industry?
As we said, people willing to learn, coming with the right attitude, people who are curious, courageous, hardworking. Make people. I think even more, it's like you open your house, you welcome people in your house, and you serve them for them to have an amazing experience. If you don't like this, don't do it.
And can you talk a little bit about the F&B industry in Hong Kong? Like in terms of what is it like? I mean, Hong Kong has one of the top number of restaurants in Hong Kong, but what is the current situation?
Hong Kong is really interesting because, as you said, it has, I think, the most number of restaurants per capita. So it's pretty crazy, the offer that we have in Hong Kong. Food stalls, street food, to Michelin star restaurants, and plays across the spectrum with all the cuisines in the world. Like, I don't think there is one cuisine you can't find in Hong Kong. So that's really cool. And it's open 24 hours. Yeah. So compared to where I come from, that's pretty crazy. Everything is open on Sunday. So that's the first thing of Hong Kong. I think so diverse, so competitive, and the offer is huge. Now with a big offer, there is also big competitivity, and I think that's what we enjoy here as well. There is some competition. You strive to be the best. Yeah.
What do you think makes Black Sheep Group so successful and at the top?
I think first is we strive to be the best, but not be the best to show off, just because we want our guests to have a great time with us. Each of our concept is really thoughtful. What we do, we try to tell a complete story, and guests might not see it all the time, but everything, from the chair, the materials we use, we talked about the researches we make. It's really important, for this restaurant. This was thought about how the boats look like, the wood we use, the nails, the lightings. We have here the music, the spiel, what we are going to tell to our guests, the drinks we're serving. Here the menu, it's an exclusive South Italian wine list. So everything is really thoughtful. And I think sometimes guests might not see it, and at some point we're not even doing it only for the guests. I think first and foremost we're doing it for us. We want this story. Do we really believe in this story ourselves? Don't do things only for the others. Like first do something that you're passionate about, that you believe in it, and then people will believe it as well.
What's a fun fact that you could share about the restaurants? If there was any small detail that you can share that we would not have guessed.
I mean, I think, for example, in Carbon, our New York Italian restaurants, that's something I discovered quite recently as well. So I find it funny because I've been dining in this restaurant quite a lot. We have a lot of meetings there, so I've been sitting on the sofas for a while. So the restaurant Carbon in New York does have some buttons, some golden buttons on the sofa, which are NYPD buttons. So it's a little detail which was really important for Mario Carbon. And then in Hong Kong, there are Shanghai police buttons. So I think it's quite interesting. Something that you might never see, but if one guest sees it, and if it catches its attention, then it's a pretty cool pretty cool story.
So let's go check out the Carbon,
we can
Carbon button later.
Now I need to. I hope it's this.
It's still the same button. Okay, so what would you say to a student in terms of them wanting to create their own restaurant? Like, what is kind of like, how long does it take to start or come up with the concept all the way to execution to, I guess you have to work with a design team to come up with the whole look of the field. Like, can you show us like the stages of, if you have a concept to actually launching, what are all that?
I mean, first thing is it starts from an idea. Our restaurants are a lot about memories. So childhood memories, travel memories, and there is a lot of fantasy as well in it. That's where we're not fully authentic. So the first thing is it's an idea, but ideas are really simple. We all have
because everybody has ideas,
exactly.
Right? So how do you turn that into the real deal?
I think it's then start to put it on papers and then put it into actions. Now we're lucky. Now we have everything what it takes to open a restaurant. We have amazing team. We have a design team. We have who I believe is our most or our busiest team in Flagship, our maintenance team. Who are from. There is not even hours there anymore. It's like every day there is something happening. So from the idea, then we put this into action. There is the story, a concept. Then we work with designers.
How long does each take? Like come up with a concept and like how long does that period take versus like because I want to know like timelines and.
I'd say it's hard for me to say because for the timing, our co-founders Chris and Asim come with most of the ideas. So when I discover a new concept, the story is there, and then everything goes really fast after.
I see.
It's pretty funny how from an empty restaurant we come with restaurant selling guests.
Also look into the location, like where you have to have the space done, you have to have like the interior done.
Yeah.
You have to have the teams. We have to hire a whole new team, perhaps. Like there's so many details that goes into.
Yeah, no, of course. So I mean, we say a restaurant is three things. It's location, the concept or the cuisine, and the chef. I think why now we are able to open those restaurants quite fast is we have a lot of ideas, but concepts ready to be open. Locations in Hong Kong is really fast to come up. There is a lot of offer, and chefs, we have a pool of talent which is quite impressive. I think out of 25 restaurants, we have about 40 chefs. So
40 chefs.
Yeah, so it's
where
quite.
Do they all come from?
All over the world. So a lot of chefs are coming, are joining us for future projects. Some chefs might have been with Shun. I think the chef at Fukuro had been with us for 2.5 years before he opened the izakaya with us. So it's about the timing, you know, for the three elements to come together at the right timing. Might take some time, but I think that's where for us now we're able to turn this quite fast because we have everything ready, everything ready to make it happen.
Got it. So what is something that you learned the most from being in the hospitality industry?
Making sure you understand that it's not the same to be to like restaurants and work in restaurants. I think that's where, you know, I might like driving, but does that make me a Formula One pilot? No. On a personal level, you work with people from really different backgrounds, different cultures, and so you have to treat each and everyone individually to be successful in your relationship with people. I think that's the two learnings I get from this.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Marc.
Of course.
So, I mean, this is a show called Own Your Future, and I only invite people that are owning their future and really loving what they're doing. So what is one tip that you can share with our audience about how they can own their future too?
Just trust yourself. I think that's where I am. I've been really lucky is when I told my mother I want to go to Hong Kong and work in restaurants. A lot of my friends were like, why do you do this? Like, just you can be really successful, do master. I think just if you feel there is something you're interested in and you could be successful if you're willing to work really hard, then go for it. It might not work, but you'll get a lot of learning from this. At least you'll know what you don't want to do. That would be a first box you tick, and then you'll just find something else. But try really hard because it's easy, you know, to if you don't try hard, you won't be successful. But just trust yourself. Don't listen too much to the others. Get someone to trust yourself, like your mother, to support you, and you'll be really successful.
All right, Marc, thank you so much.
Thank you
for sharing such great insights about the industry and about yourself.